right, everyone, buckle up because today we are diving deep into some seriously strange news stories
Oh yeah, those headlines that make you do a double take.
from episode 7 of the news report that you deserve. It's a Hebrew language podcast, and let me tell you, they found some real gems this time around.
I love those little glimpses into the weird.
We're talking awkward billboard ads, people come up with ridiculous excuses for breaking the law,
Oh, this should be good.
and even the Taliban dealing with the struggles of,
Yeah.
wait for it, office life.
That one I have to hear.
Oh, we are getting there. But first, this story about a billboard in Massachusetts.
Okay.
I swear, every time I think about it, I just start laughing. So picture this.
All right, I'm picturing.
You're driving down the road,
All right.
and you see this billboard that just screams out, "Need a car. Date our son."
Oh no, that's great.
And it gets even better.
It does.
The billboard, it actually had a picture of the car on there, too. A 2004 Buick Regal. 40,000 miles, no rust, clean, that kind of description.
Wow, they were really selling it.
Right, and the best part, the parents actually described their son on the billboard as very smart but socially awkward,
Oh my goodness.
like practically begging anyone, to please take him off our hands before he goes to college. I kind of admire their honesty, though.
That's some serious parental marketing there. I wonder, do you think they actually thought this would work? Or was it like a joke?
It really makes you wonder about their marketing strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like, was this whole thing just a bizarre way to get attention?
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, there's a reason that saying there's no such thing as bad publicity exists.
True, very true.
Turns out, it was all a big publicity stunt for some new comedy film.
Figures.
Still, though, it got me thinking. Have you ever seen an ad, like in the wild, that was so out there, so ridiculously strange that you just couldn't look away?
Oh, tons. People get seriously creative with their advertising, that's for sure.
Right. It's like they say, truth is stranger than fiction.
Sometimes, for sure.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit and head over to Israel for our next dose of you can't make this stuff up news. So a driver gets pulled over. He was going a ridiculous 243 kilometers per hour on a major highway. I mean, this guy was flying.
Seriously speeding?
Oh, yeah. But it's his excuse that really takes the cake.
Okay, what's the excuse?
And keep in mind, this wasn't just some random guy in a beat-up old car either. This guy had tricked out his vehicle, like extra fuel tanks and some other serious modifications. This was planned.
Oh, wow, this is getting good. So what did he say?
So the officer asked him the obvious question, right? Why are you practically breaking the sound barrier on a public road?
Yeah, what was his answer?
And this guy, with a completely straight face, claims he's rushing to a resuscitation.
A resuscitation. As in, someone died and he's rushing to save them.
That's exactly what he said. Every second counts. A true medical emergency. Gotta get there fast.
And the officer bought it.
Well, just like in a movie, the story falls apart pretty quickly.
Oh, I bet.
The more questions the officer asked, the more details this guy tried to give, the more he contradicted himself.
So what happened?
It started with when he bought the car. First, he said it was a few days ago. Then all of a sudden, it was a year ago. It just didn't add up.
Busted. Some people, I swear. But I have to ask, what's the most ridiculous excuse you've ever heard? Or maybe even used yourself to get out of a tricky situation?
Oh, man, I'm sure we've all been there. We've all had those moments where we wish we could just disappear or rewind time. But speaking of tricky situations,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not speeding tickets we're trying to escape, but, those bureaucratic nightmares of modern life.
Ugh, don't remind me.
Right, like, sometimes it feels like you're stuck in a Kafka novel.
Uh-huh.
And this next story is from England, and it is a prime example.
All right, let's hear it.
This man, Stuart Jobson is his name.
Stuart Dobson.
He encounters a rather unusual problem, to say the least. His local council accidentally declares him dead.
You're kidding.
Nope. A month after his wife of 54 years passed away, no less. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up.
Talk about adding insult to injury. That's awful.
And it gets worse.
It does.
The council, they send Mr. Dobson a letter. They're expressing their condolences for his loss.
Okay.
And then, and I am not making this up, they ask him to fill out some tax forms.
No way.
I know. It's almost comical. If it weren't so concerning, Like, imagine being told you're dead and then being asked to prove you're alive by filling out paperwork.
Some people, honestly.
Right. It really makes you wonder about those gears of bureaucracy sometimes. Like, is anyone actually paying attention?
I think we've all had those moments where we're dealing with some big organization and it feels like you're talking to a brick wall.
Totally. Well, bless Mr. Dobson. He actually went down to the council in person to show them he was, in fact, very much alive.
Good for him.
And get this, he even asked them, "Do I look dead to you?" What a legend.
That's amazing. What did they say?
I don't know, but you got to admire his spirit,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But this whole thing, it really makes you think, have you ever had one of those encounters with bureaucracy where you just wondered if anyone was paying attention at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that's something pretty much everyone can relate to.
Right, it's like a shared human experience at this point.
Mm.
Okay, before we all spiral into an existential crisis over paperwork and the meaning of life and death,
Please,
let's lighten the mood a bit with our final story for this segment, shall we?
Okay, hit me with it.
Get ready for some serious irony, because this one takes us to Afghanistan, where the Taliban is struggling with, wait for it, office life.
Wait, seriously, the Taliban office life?
I'm telling you, truth is stranger than fiction.
Wow. Okay, I need details. What's going on?
So these fighters, who were once, battling in the mountains and all that, they're now facing a whole new enemy, the daily grind.
That's too perfect. It's like they traded one battle for another, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. It's like they went from fighting a war to fighting rush hour traffic and trying to stay awake in boring meetings.
Oh, you really can't make this stuff up. I have to say, though, it makes you think. How would you handle going from, let's say, being an extreme outdoor adventurer, living life on the edge, to suddenly being chained to a desk job?
I know, it really makes you think how much of our happiness is tied to our external circumstances and how much is about our mindset and how we choose to approach each day. Because let's be honest, even those of us with, normal jobs and lives, we can still get bogged down in the routine and lose sight of the bigger picture.
That's so true. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind, no matter who you are or what you do.
And the quotes from these Taliban fighters, they are priceless. I mean, one of them actually complains about being glued to his computer screen all day, saying, "We're addicted to the internet, especially Twitter."
Oh, the irony.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, haven't we all felt that way at some point? Like, oh no, I've become that person who spends all day on social media.
For sure. It's kind of comforting in a weird way, Even the Taliban gets sucked into the social media vortex. It humanizes a group that's often, demonized in the media. We forget, even people we might disagree with, on a fundamental level, even the Taliban can still get stuck in traffic and hate their jobs.
Right. It's like this strange equalizer, the banality of modern life. No matter who you are, where you're from, everyone seems to hate traffic and feel chained to their desks sometimes.
It's the little things in life, I guess.
Seriously. But honestly, some of their complaints are kind of heartbreaking in a darkly comedic kind of way.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Like, there's this quote from a former sniper in the article. He says, and I quote, "The Taliban was once free from restrictions, but now we sit in one place behind a desk and computer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Life has become so tiring, you do the same things every day."
Wow. That's heavy. You can practically hear the longing for the good old days, which is kind of ironic considering what those good old days probably entailed for him.
It's definitely giving me some be careful what you wish for vibes.
Totally. You never know how good you have it until it's gone, right?
Exactly. Sometimes the grass really is greener on the other side until you get there and realize you actually hate mowing the lawn.
Ain't that the truth? Okay, so what else have we got?
Well, since we're on a roll with the unbelievable, are you ready for a rapid-fire round of even more bizarre news from around the globe?
Get me.
All right, so first up, we're heading down under to Australia.
Okay.
This couple wins the lottery.
All right, nice. Who doesn't love a good lottery win story?
Right. We get this. They won it twice?
Twice. As in, they bought 2 tickets and got lucky.
Nope. Twice in 1 week. And they used the same numbers both times.
No way. What are the chances? That's insane.
Talk about lucky. Apparently, they've been playing those same numbers for 30 years. I guess persistence really does pay off.
30 years. That's some serious dedication. Makes you wonder about all those times I've switched up my numbers at the last minute.
Right. Maybe we should all just pick some random numbers and stick with them no matter what.
Maybe. Okay, what's next on our bizarre news world tour?
Okay, this next one is a little wild. We're talking about a high school in Oregon, of all places. And they ended up in some seriously hot water over a writing assignment they gave their students.
Ooh, a writing assignment. This I gotta hear. What were they writing about?
Get ready for it.
Yeah.
They asked the students to write about their sexual fantasy.
Oh, you're kidding, right? They did not. High schoolers.
High schoolers, can you imagine being a fly on the wall in that classroom?
Oh my goodness. The parent-teacher night after that assignment must have been interesting.
Oh, I can only imagine. Apparently, a lot of parents were not too thrilled, to say the least.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on, high school is a little young for that, don't you think? What were they thinking?
Right. And the school actually tried to defend the assignment.
They did. How did they try to explain that one away?
They were claiming it was all about, creative writing, encouraging the students to tap into their imaginations and all that.
Sure, creative writing, right?
But, this is a big but, some of the language they used in the prompt for the assignment, like sensual experiences and romantic music,
Oh.
it kind of makes it seem like they might have been maybe just a tad fishing for something a little more specific from these kids.
Yeah, a tad. That's putting it mildly. There are definitely some lines you don't cross with high schoolers, and I think they found one.
For sure. I'm all for encouraging young minds to explore their creativity, but there were probably some less, shall we say, risque topics they could have chosen for that assignment.
Agreed. All right, I need something a little lighter after that one. Give me something good.
Okay, how about this? The U.S. Conservation Agency, they're looking for some new recruits.
All right, the Conservation Agency sounds interesting.
Oh, it gets interesting, trust me. They put out this job posting, and it's for professional bear huggers.
Right. Did you say bear huggers? Like they want people to hug actual bears
Mhm.
as a job?
You read that right.
Right.
Professional bear huggers. Apparently, the ideal candidate is someone who enjoys, hiking in the wilderness, not afraid of a little dirt.
I would hope so.
And here's the kicker, they need to be comfortable. Crawling into bear dens.
You have got to be kidding me. This is a real job. Where do I sign up? That sounds terrifying, but also kind of amazing.
Right. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to cuddle with a giant, potentially grumpy apex predator. But hey, more power to them. Someone's got to do it, I guess.
I guess so. Maybe they get paid in honey. Okay, what else is going on in the world of weird jobs? That one's going to be hard to top.
All right, this last one. This is a doozy. So we've got the Wagner Group, the Russian mercenary organization.
Right, I've heard of them. Not exactly known for their cuddly side.
Nope, not exactly. But apparently they're trying to change their image, at least when it comes to recruitment.
Okay, how so?
Get this, they're turning to a very unexpected platform to find new recruits. And that platform is Pornhub.
Wait, seriously, Pornhub, that's their new recruiting strategy.
You can't make this stuff up. Apparently they put out this ad.
I can't even imagine what that looks like.
Right. It's got this sultry voice, really setting the mood. And it's basically encouraging viewers to stop pleasuring yourself and come join their ranks instead.
Wow. Just wow. Talk about a captive audience, though, am I right?
Right. I mean, leave it to the Wagner Group to think outside the box, right?
That's one way to put it. But seriously, I wonder if it worked. Did they get any new recruits out of it?
That's a good question. Who knows? Maybe we'll see a spike in Wagner Group applications and never know why.
It makes you wonder what other surprises they've got up their sleeves.
Seriously, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of weirdness today.
That's the world we live in, I guess. Always
Right.
full of surprises.
It really is. All right, well, that was quite a roller coaster of bizarre news from around the world. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think that sometimes reality really is stranger than fiction.
Oh, without a doubt. It's like someone's playing a big cosmic joke on us all.
Right, like who's writing this stuff?
But as strange as these stories are, I think that's part of why we find them so fascinating.
What do you mean?
They remind us that even in a world that often feels predictable and mundane, where we're all just stuck in our routines,
Yeah.
there's still room for the unexpected, the absurd, the downright unbelievable. It gives you hope.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Little dose of weirdness to keep things interesting.
Exactly. We need that.
It's like a breath of fresh air in a weird way.
Exactly. It reminds us not to take everything so seriously,
That's a good point. You just got to laugh at the absurdity of it all.
100%.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the weird and wonderful world of bizarre news. We covered a lot of ground today. Awkward billboards, bureaucratic blunders, people trying to outrun the law with the worst excuses, and of course, those professional bear huggers. What a ride.
It really has been a wild one. Always fun exploring these strange corners of the world with you.
Always a good time. But before we go, I have one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, sure.
All these stories, these little glimpses into the stranger side of life, do you think they reveal something deeper about us? About humanity?
Ooh, that is a good question. Like, are we drawn to the bizarre? Is it in our nature?
Maybe. Or maybe it's more about needing a break from the ordinary. Like we crave those moments of, you can't make this stuff up, because our everyday lives can feel so, well, routine.
That makes sense. I mean, think about it. When you tell someone a story, are they more interested in hearing about your average Tuesday at the office? Or the time you accidentally ended up at a clown convention?
The clown convention, hands down.
Exactly. We love the unexpected, the things that make us stop and say, wait, what? It's how our brains are wired, I guess.
So maybe it's a bit of both, right? We're drawn to the bizarre because it's in our nature and because it gives us a break from the mundane.
I think you're onto something. It's like that saying, variety is the spice of life. Or maybe, in this case, weirdness is the spice of life.
I like that. Weirdness is the spice of life. We should put that on a t-shirt.
Totally. All right, well, I think we solved the mystery of why we love bizarre news. It's our natural human curiosity.
There you go. And on that note, we're going to wrap things up here. But remember, stay curious out there, folks, and keep your eyes peeled for those strange and wonderful stories that remind us just how weird and unpredictable the world can be.
And when you find those stories, don't keep them to yourself. Share them with us and with the world.
Exactly. Let's spread the weirdness. All right, everyone. Until next time, thanks for joining us on this wild ride. We'll see you on the next deep dive.